Welcome, Leo. This is your weekly focus for August the 19th, the week of. I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Let's turn to the cards and see what they have to reveal for you, Leo, for the upcoming week. Underlying energy is, look at that. How beautiful is that? You have the Magician. Yeah, I thought I had it down to a science, but I guess I don't again. Okay, well, persevere. Can I blame Mercury retrograde? It doesn't come in clearly. Anyways, the Magician. Back to you. Back to why we're here. There's some kind of what do you truly want? I think. Well, let's see what other cards come out, because I mean I could read that card in so many ways, but I can tell you that the magic is here. It surrounds you. You're utilizing it in some way to bring in your best life ever eventually, right? So let's go on, leaving that card there at the beginning. We definitely will see how the Magician works in. We have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, Four of Pentacles is becoming a frequent flyer in readings for the last couple of weeks now, telling us that we are holding on to something, not allowing ourselves to release something in order to go forward, to create prosperity in our life. And not just prosperity, but great prosperity, great wealth in our life if we so choose to. There is a giant gate in the form of a pentacle and two angels guarding it, knowing that it's your path. Those are your angels guarding your path. Nobody else can take that. That opportunity is there for you whenever you are ready to step into it. Okay, so we'll look a little bit to how to release, right? It could be just as easy as you say, please help me with this. Lift this burden from me. Take away this responsibility, this obligation from me. Something that you're holding on to or you don't feel, it could be that you have a great opportunity, but you're caring for somebody and you won't be able to care for them in the way that you want to if you take that great opportunity. Those kinds of things hold you back in life. Absolutely. So make sure that you're making the decision for you, okay, and taking care of you first and foremost. And I was a caregiver for both my parents. My dad went blind. My mom uh, had dementia, and I was the caregiver. I lived next door, so why wouldn't I be the caregiver, right? And she was always there for me when I needed her. Both of them were. So, anyways, but it was very hard to give up the control. When my mom reached a certain point where I had to say, okay, I either do this, which is probably a really bad move in order to take care of her, or I do the sensible thing. And I made arrangements for her to be somewhere else and cared for. And they did amazingly wonderful, better than I ever could have. So it was a very hard thing to do. So this may not be the easiest thing. Therefore, ask God, your angels, the universe, help you. But I mean, this is hang on. Not everybody's going to experience that kind of immense energy, but that came out for I think a handful of you, and I had to say it. So bear with me here. Page of Swords. Page of Swords is okay. We have this. She's kind of looking down on her, right? Page of Swords is kind of sitting there and checking out the Four of Pentacles, sitting there. And you know what? The Page of Swords is just like, enough already. Enough of allowing this to weigh you down, burden you. It's time, so the escape. You want to escape, you want to run from, you want to just leave it in the rearview mirror and never look back kind of energy comes in. It's very spontaneous, and you really need to think that through a little bit. But if that is what your gut is telling you, then you need to understand how to make that possible in your life, because your body may be telling you on a very instinctive level, and you don't need to take it to that instinctive level, but you do know, or you do gain awareness that this is a burden in your life, whatever it might be. It might be something small. It might be, the aunt who just lost her husband, and she's always there, and you feel an obligation to always be there for her, but you really just kind of need to move on in life, and help her to move on in life. It could be things like this happening in our life. Okay, so look at your life, and how this might relate to you, because I'm getting very specific messages here for this core energy, and then watch the explosion of life that happens around it. So this reading is kind of transforming as we're using it, and that's how I love certain layouts to go, where the energy actually gets stronger and stronger every time. Anyways, it's getting stronger, and I feel it for you. The Four of Pentacles and to the Page of Swords. So spontaneity, we need to think about it a little bit in order to, but we are going to let go here, I think, because this card is in the first position. We have everything that we need in order to go forward, to actually let that go, and that could have been something that you've been working years to remove from your life. Okay, and so this might be the week where doing something a little bit different, out of the ordinary, attacking it in a different way, it actually moves you. And it could be just like a habit or a behavior, or a false sense of belief on something. And then we have Temperance. So it's about honoring yourself, what you need, what, not what everybody else needs, but what you need in order to go forward, in order to feel strong. I think really need to, it's almost like you are examining your relationship with self here, which is kind of weird. So, in a good way, obviously, in a good way. So Temperance is asking you to look at your life, and do you really feel in control? Do you really feel in balance? Do you really feel that you have balance and harmony in your relationships, where you work, in your neighborhood, with yourself? Okay, or it could be harmony of something. So it could it could be environments, certain environments, when you put yourself in it. How do you feel? How does it make you feel? How do you need to feel? Does that make sense to you in any way, Leo? It's understanding where, in what environments we feel the safest, the most confident, the most loved, the most protected, and where we feel like we are we're vulnerable. We're open to some kind of unknown force. And that unknown force probably doesn't even exist, but your body is reacting like there is something there. So if something's triggering something, figure out what that trigger is. Okay, I had somebody else, it was a trigger. Pay attention to where that trigger shows up in your life. Overriding all this energy is the Three of Wands. Three of Wands tells me that you probably will not be making any major decisions this week when it comes to stepping forward in job, career, in any direction, really. Okay, but you are contemplating where you want to go. You are looking at the tomorrow, and you are seeking for, it's kind of like before you actually talk to the magician this week. Well, you do something very spontaneous, or you have this really radical thought, which entices your mind, and you say, how could I do that? How could I actually step into that? And you start thinking about it, and you start, pondering it. So give yourself time to sit in solitude this week at some point, okay, throughout the week if possible, and really think about your direction and where you truly would want your life to go on a very casual level. Like, don't look very long term, severe, hard energy, but rather just look at the here and now. And how would you like your tomorrows to roll out for you, kind of thing. because when you start to do that, okay, you start to talk to the magician. And then as temperance comes in here, you go, because here it was like, well, I'd like a better job. My job isn't that great, so I'd probably want another job. How could I go forward to get another job? And so we ask for an opportunity for a job. But then we go back to the drawing board and we think, okay, well, how would it be balanced for me? I'm an early riser, so I'd like something that was like six to two, right? 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Those kind of work hours, maybe 3 days a week, 24 hours tops. I'd like it, close to home, within so many miles or kilometers away. I'd really like to be, working in a restaurant serving people. I'd really like to be standing as the greeter at a store. I'd really like to be meeting like-minded people and working on innovative projects together in order to create wealth. I'd really like it to be something in the way of, creating technology, or I'd like it to be in something that is pharmaceutical in nature. I'd like it to be in a lawyer's office. I'd like it to be wherever you want. Where do you want it to be? I'd like it on the coast shores of this country. Sure, go for it. Why not? You're starting to dream here. And as you dream, the magician, since you've already had that initial conversation, is listening to your dream unfold before you. Okay? Start thinking about what it would be looking like. How would I feel more comfortable in my world? What my bills paid. I'd like to make sure there was enough money in the bank, so I'd like a good salary with that. I'd like to be paid for my value, for my worth. I'd like there to be extra perks, so I don't have to worry about my living expenses. That would be covered. That would be part of the deal. Plus, I'd have a healthy salary so I can enjoy myself. You start to think about how your life could be in true balance by thinking about what you would really like, knowing that you would have to work, knowing that you have obligations and responsibilities, but on your terms. Four of Wands. Four of Wands cradles this energy. The Four of Wands is about building a more successful tomorrow, usually with somebody else in partnership with. So this could definitely be love that we're looking at here. A couple of you, we're taking the next step. We're getting married. We're moving in. We're saying those three words, I love you, for the first time. We're going out on that second date. We're celebrating 50 years, whatever it may be for you, okay? Wherever you are in the partnership, okay? This is the marriage card, this is the partnership card, but I'm going to talk about love a little bit first, okay? Um this is about growing, your happiness together and celebrating each and every moment as if it were your first moment together. Tony Robbins says that if you treat every day like your first day, you will never have a last day. So there is a lot of room here for to grow harmony and balance within the relationship, to understand the relationship and understand how to deepen that relationship, grow it, grow the bonds deeper and more in harmony. And it might be a little bit by doing something a little outside the box. Okay. If we're looking at work and career, growing our wealth, growing our prosperity and abundance, we could be forming partnerships. And even if the partnership is just all you've done right now is had a conversation about it, that should be celebrated. Okay. When you go home, celebrate with yourself for a second and saying, okay, first step. We had a conversation. Now, how am I going to make sure that we have a follow up to that conversation? What is my next proactive step? Okay, now I've done that. I put that in place. Now, what is one thing that I can work on, that I can bring back to the table to wow them, and wait for them and see what they wow me with? And so it goes, and you start to build that partnership up to we're celebrating 75 years of partnership together. Okay, but it's all about celebrating all the little steps, all the little tiny steps. Don't waste a moment to celebrate, because when you celebrate that little tiny thing, it puts energy into that little tiny thing. It raises the energy of that little tiny thing, and it grows, it magnifies. Okay, and watch the unexpected results in a good way to happen. Okay, as we come into the week, we have the Seven of Cups. So there is a lot to look at. So we're not going to rush into any decisions right now. We only have one perspective going into this week. So definitely not enough information in order to make a wise and sound decision on anything that we tackle. And we have the King of Swords. So by the end of the week, though, we're quite determined. We're going to make sure that there are no distractions. There's no cups hanging over my head. I know exactly what I want. I don't need a cup to tell me what I want. I'm going forward. And if there is no path, well, I'll make it myself because I have a sword. And there you go. And you start cutting down the brush in order to get to create the path to your best life ever, that new job, that new career, that new relationship, that new sense of well-being you want to bring in, perhaps. They get very strong by the end of the week. We kind of come in a little, but we leave. We leave with a newfound balance or a newfound, not sculpture. It's not sculpture. Um, a construction, at least, of what would bring more balance into my life. Work and career, Six of Cups. Well, it could be a job that you've done before or a project that you've done before, and you're resurrecting it. You're understanding where you had so much more to offer that project or that, yeah, that project. We'll call it a project. Could have been a past business that you tried and it failed for whatever reason. But it's time to look at it with new eyes. I mean, you've had experience and growth since you did that. So maybe looking at it, you get this aha moment, this epiphany to revamp it in some way. This is really following your passions. This is this is until you're willing to really embrace your truest passions of what you really want to do, of what you really want to step into. You're really not going to feel the magnitude of success like you wanted or you crave it, Leo. There's something that's holding you back here. There's something that's holding you back here. And we do something just out of the ordinary just to kind of get us to stand up, because when we stand up, so I don't know what that would be, but think it through a little bit, okay? Whatever that is, because it sets off like a domino effect. Because that's what I'm seeing is the dominoes falling down. That one that, and it could stem a little bit from how we get our balance, or I don't think it really has to go that way. It doesn't go that way. Okay, let's go to love and relationships. The Nine of Swords. Well, I would have to ask you what you're focusing on in a relationship. I think, and this isn't for everybody, but I think there's a number of you out there that feel very insecure in your relationship. Like you always have to do more and be more in order to still earn your place next to them. And I think that's kind of ludicrous if you ask me. You have so much more magic. Once again, how do I go forward with this problem? I think this is the main part of your reading is how we process things to open up the new beginning. So if relationships, if we're having problems or we're not feeling our self-worth, or that we're trusted, or they're being loyal to us, or whatever it might be, that we look at our tomorrow in new ways of approaching that problem rather than just letting it spin out of control. So we're going to look at the positive action only. The positive action may be we need space. The positive action may be we need to sit down and we need to talk about it. The positive action would be, and once you start to put that in your viewpoint on the horizon, what are we having this week? The conversation with the magician. So the magician is going to bring in a little bit more harmony and structure in in your relationships? Is this a week to find someone new? Well, if you put that in the path, yes, most definitely would say that somebody would come into your life under that kind of energy, because I really get the energy here for you. So whatever you're doing, it all kind of swirls up to the Three of Wands. Usually this one I find more of a center energy, but that might be the spontaneous response that ignites that new thought in order to go forward, in order to have that new thought in order to go forward. You could be worried about all the little things just a little bit too much, and maybe we need to just look at the bigger picture or understand why we're in that relationship. So we may be looking at different things about the relationship that we don't like, and that's okay, and that's normal. The healthy thing is to have that wonderful conversation with that person. Okay, talking about healthy boundaries and how you feel and your emotion, and then listening to their take on how they feel and their emotion in the situation, and come to some some beautiful collaborations of how you can move forward together, acknowledging each other's values, their each other's feelings, emotions, beliefs, and still feeling strong and capable within the relationship, if not um, heightened in some way, complemented in some way for them being in your life. Because the truest of friends and the truest of relationships are two people that complement each other so well. Final card is the Tower card. This all leads to some kind of new awakening for you, some aha moment, some epiphany. I'm not really seeing it here. That doesn't mean it couldn't. And by this card coming out, he just doesn't blend with the rest of the reading. So it's almost like something happens as you go into the weekend or you're leaving the weekend that just brings it all together for you. You know how to go forward. You know what was holding you back. You know what was limiting you. You know what everybody told you wasn't your true calling, wasn't, you didn't have the potential, shouldn't do it, wasn't meant for you. What makes you think you're so special? Okay. Well, first of all, that you are a spiritual being having a human existence, I think that makes you pretty special right there. But there's a whole bunch more to it. I see you as this ball of energy, this soul of creativity and expansion. But there is something holding you back, not allowing you to really see how you can do that. But I think when you go through this process right in here, that you start to understand what is really out of harmony in your life, and where you need, or what you can change. And it could be just the smallest of changes, to be honest with you, that all of a sudden you feel the security, you feel the love, you feel the energy of great prosperity. Okay. Get out there and socialize, especially on the weekend when you're feeling like this. Because, wow, watch yourself when you're networking yourself. You go to those networking groups and stuff that are hanging out on the weekend. You want to go to one of those, because what you say, you'll be amazed by the success of your words. Around that time. Okay. So if you're promoting yourself or something, go out there and network yourself towards the end of the week, the weekend, and you'll be amazed at the results. And it might just move you towards where you believe in yourself, and something that you really feel you didn't have the right to believe it, but here it is, and it's open to you, and you can walk through the door if you want. And by golly gee, I do. So until we meet again, Leo, remember, I do love you.